The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello and welcome to the IDX Broker Platinum webinar. Today I will be, my name is Luke Walsh, and I will be hosting the webinar and taking you through several accounts, almost half a dozen accounts, the front end pages for those accounts, and then also, if we have time, hopefully the back end control panel. We can answer any questions that people may have. Assisting me today is Alex Lewis, and Alex is very skilled at answering these questions quickly. So any questions that you may have, please definitely throw those into the questions tab, and we'll try to get to those. Alex will get to those as soon as possible. There may be times where a question is useful for others, and so I will. I may just pull one of those questions out and then present it during the webinar so that everyone is aware. So we are, as with all the other webinars that we host, we'll be recording the webinar, and so that will be available on our YouTube channel afterwards. We also we'll send that link out to you within the next day or two after the webinar is over. You'll get an automated email, and then that webinar link will be available there. So if you missed something, if you had to step away, go to a meeting, whatever, you'll be able to come back and review parts of the webinar that you may have missed. So again, with that said, if you have any questions, please definitely put those into the questions tab, and then I have a couple other intro pieces, and then I'll get started. So those of you that are on the webinar and are current IDX Broker Original subscribers, I just wanted to let you know that we have another webinar next week that's specifically for those that may want to migrate from IDX Broker Original to Platinum, and there are some things to consider, and so that webinar goes into a little bit more detail on that side. So some of the questions that you may have around that will be answered there. Otherwise, you could always send us an email. Again, any email support questions that are related to your account, send those to help@idxbroker.com, and we usually respond to those within 24 hours. So you'll get an answer there regarding the migration. Note that if you are in IDX Broker Original, or you subscribe to IDX Broker Original now, you will not pay a setup fee, an additional setup fee, if you decide to go with IDX Broker Platinum. For those of you that may be having connection problems or technical issues, just note that I'm not able to slow down. I need to be able to cover as much territory as possible today. Again, we're recording the webinar, and so you'll be able to come back to it at that point. Again, any account level, very specific account level questions, those should probably not go into the questions box, and instead those should go, just wait and send those emails or those questions to help@idxbroker.com, and somebody will be able to get back to you. So one of the first things that I want to talk about with Platinum, and really introduce for those of you that are new to Platinum, is this idea of responsive and mobile responsive websites, and what that means, what that really means with Platinum. Now, I'll definitely cover, as noted in the webinar, I'll cover some of the lead capture issues and getting more leads from Platinum, and I'll show some examples of some very successful sites. But I also wanted to just kind of preempt that with a discussion around the mobile piece. And here's an example of what we provide, and this is using a tool. Those of you that use Chrome, you can use a tool called Chrome User Agent Switcher for Chrome, and what that does is it allows you to change the user agent and kind of view any page through the eyes of let's say a mobile device, right? So you can see how this page is going to look on an iPhone 4. So one of the ways in which, one of the biggest ways in which Platinum is different from Original is that Platinum offers a mobile responsive, both a mobile responsive platform, we call it mobile responsive ready platform, and it also a mobile wrapper. So the mobile wrapper is really designed around the idea of what you see in Original, IDX Broker Original, which is an installed application where somebody has to enter an agent code, agent ID, and then once they've entered that code, they get a branded screen that looks very similar to this. Now, the advantage to using a non-app version is that, of course, you can do things like we can add forms on the fly. It can easily make upgrades and create upgrades without having to, number one, enter there's no agent code entered, but also the actual form itself you can customize. So you have a lot more control over that mobile experience. And of course, we're right at the very beginning of the mobile, what a lot of people are considering the mobile revolution, where so many people are starting to access websites and website content on mobile devices. And we've actually seen a tremendous growth, especially in Platinum, in the number of the count of hits and just the number of users that are using mobile has exploded in the last year. And what that means is that each device kind of needs its own layout. It needs its own design. Now we've preempted that to some degree. We've created a template for that with these mobile wrappers that mimics some of what you have in what's available in the IDX Broker Original platform. So you have the Find Me, where you can do a search, and if you're on a mobile device and GPS is enabled, it'll find your location and then find all the properties nearby. One of the advantages with the mobile wrappers in Platinum is that you can actually save a search now. So somebody could come in here and save a search, and it'll save to their account. So they click on that, and it'll open a form where they can submit their lead information, and then that goes into your system. So you end up getting more leads as a result of having that mobile responsiveness. Now we're working on some other things, and that will make this even more seamless. And again, it's we're still at the beginning of the mobile changes and the really shift into mobile. So there's still a lot of work to do, but this is really this at the heart of what IDX Broker Platinum can offer you, is this ability to kind of get ahead of the curve on the mobile side. So, and to answer the question, there is a question here about Platinum and Droid and so on, and to sort of clarify what the term responsive and website-based mobile means. What it means is that there is no more sense of device separateness. There's no iOS versus Android versus, because they're not built as applications. It's actually somebody going to your website because they've clicked on a link in your footer, or in the footer of your email, or an email that you've sent out that has a property detail, and they go to that property, and when they click on the link, they go to a page that is designed specifically for their device, whatever that screen width is, whatever that the size is. And so that's the idea behind it, is that you don't have there is really no need to have an installed application that's tied to the iOS or to the operating system. So that just wanted to get that sort of clear for people, so that people understand the differences on the mobile side between Original and Platinum, and then also what Platinum has and potentially can offer you. So again, this is an example of a mobile site or a site that, if I were looking at this through a standard browser, it would look like a normal website. But when I come through a mobile device, it shows the name, and then if there's a logo here, the logo, and then a number. And that phone number is, if you tap that on a phone, it'll dial that number. So it's kind of direct access to you as a realtor through that mobile page. Now, these mobile wrappers can be turned off as well, and then you can get into what's called mobile responsive, where you may have a mobile responsive website that is more forms based. This is we've focused. This is what's called the mobile wrapper. So again, I don't want to create confusion there, but there are two different ways to present IDX Broker on mobile devices. So, and we may get into, at some point in the future, we'll have a webinar where we'll talk specifically about mobile and what can be done with Platinum and mobile, because there's so much that can be covered with that. So let's go ahead and get started with, let's take a look at an example here. And actually, I'm going to take an example website, primeranchland.com. And all of these examples that we're providing today, all of these examples are really sites that, for the most part, they're sites that have been set up from on behalf or with the help of our IDX Broker developer partners. So IDX Broker Platinum was in beta for a long time, and during that period we allowed our developer partners access to Platinum, and in the process they built some great sites. And so some of this is showing off what our partners can do, since we don't do any websites ourselves, and what's possible with some of the partner sites that we work with. Now, note that that's not all of our developers are set up for Platinum just yet, but I believe that that all of them within the next month or so are slated to be fully Platinum ready. So just in case you're working with a developer now, and I would go contact that developer, and ask them about Platinum after the fact, after you've attended this webinar, and see what sort of details they can help you with. So in terms of this site, you can see that primeranchland.com, which I think is about a year old on Platinum, and has been around for a long time. The main website has been around for a long time. But this subdomain that they've set up, this texas.primeranchland.com, is getting indexed to the tune of 146,000 results. So that's a pretty significant number in terms of just the number of details pages getting indexed. And some of that has to do with the again, the age of the site, but also if you look at this, you've got photo gallery links that are getting linked to, and these photo gallery links, along with the details page links, are all getting indexed along with the main website. And so just the sheer volume of content being indexed has been pretty impressive in terms of IDX Broker Platinum. We've been impressed by what some of these clients have been able to do, and some of the developer partners that have used Platinum. Some of that has to do with the way that Platinum displays a details page. So a details page URL in Platinum is displayed with the keywords in the URL, and so you can actually you can go into your dashboard and you can actually make changes to the page URL and how it displays. So you can change what sort of details page SEO settings you're going to use. So in this case, if I'm going to Designs, Pages, and then I go to the Details page, the standard Details page, and from there there's a tab. There's three tabs. I go to SEO Settings, and then by default I believe it's Address. Address is what shows up there, and so you can add address, but you can add city name. You can add really anything that's listed over here can be added over here. So. And it shows you a little preview there, so you can see how it's going to look. Now, keep in mind that the MLS ID, it always shows up by default. So, listing ID. So the listing ID will always show up by default. This area, this is what you have control over. So you can change that URL, and you can take a look do some searches in your market, see what people that are getting ranked for certain properties or certain neighborhoods. Take a look at how those URLs are parsed out, and just customize your URLs to suit. So there's a lot that can be done there to make the URL is just a little bit more friendly. Now it's not the only piece. There's also the details title tags and meta tags, also very important, and which actually I believe it goes back to designs and pages. So again, like IDX Broker Original, you want to modify the title tags and so on, title tags and meta descriptions as well. So one of the other things you can do is you can actually create, while I'm in this tab, I'll just jump over to this, you can create a new page. You can actually create a new form, activate it, and then you can customize it. So let's say I go here and I'll show you some examples of what people have done to customize, where they built a page and then pulled the code out and then customized it. We'll take a look at, let's take a look at Search Oro Valley Homes. First off, let's take a look. This is a custom page that was built, right? So when you build a page, you go to Search Setup, and from here you can turn the advanced fields on or off. You can also do things like you can hide an element. You can hide certain things from the form itself, and then from the advanced search, you go to data fields, and from the data fields you can make further customization to that page. So you can create these pages, and this is all tied to this page. You can create pages that are very, very customized, and you could set a hidden value. So let's say for this one I want REO bank owned, and I want that form to just display REO bank owned only. I could set that as the default, or I could just hide it altogether, hide that field, and then it's not even an option, and then call the page, search REO bank owned. So there's a lot that can be done with Platinum that just kind of takes things to the next level in terms of your ability to customize your IDX and make it just that much more powerful for yourself, for your website. So let's go back here and just talking about the URL piece and sticking to that. Again, there are a lot of things that go into SEO and building good URLs. Backlinks matter. The age of the primary website matter. Also, whether you are adding or creating a custom subdomain, we recommend that you set up a custom subdomain, just so that gets credited to your primary domain, as you can see is happening here with the site search. So let's take a look at another one. Yeah, so just as an aside, also before we jump over to some other accounts, there are a lot of the accounts that I'm going to show you today are securing anywhere from 4 to 5 leads per day to anywhere from that to maybe 1 to 2 per week. And so in general, the Platinum accounts are doing fairly well in terms of lead capture, and that can be done in a couple different ways. So one way to capture leads is to, well, there's quite a few actually. Here's a good example of lead capture on a website that's been around for some time. That's where they're advertising the listing notifications, right? Oh, let me pop out of this screen here. Go back. So that was the mobile piece. That's why it showed the mobile page rather than the standard search page. So from this page, let's go back. So if I click here on this button, somebody, one moment please. Looks like Alex, we lost Alex there, so I'm bringing him back in the conversation. So any questions that you may have should be covered here. And then I'm seeing some feedback that it's a little bit, some of this is a little bit confusing, and so I understand that some of the, especially the technical stuff, I'll try not to talk too quickly about that. Some of that stuff is, there's just a lot that can be done from the control panel, so I won't spend too much time with that, and I'll just talk about some of the high-level stuff. So for those of you that are maybe confused, I apologize for that. We'll stay high level and move on from here. So let's take a look at the listing notifications. So this is, again, one way to attract more leads is get that information up front. And then there's a link called email update sign up. Now this is available in original as well. Not everyone was aware that it's available in original, but this is what it does. It's also available in Platinum. You click next step, and then it goes to the step 2, create a personalized listing manager account. This is very popular with those that are very focused on, focused on the lead capture side and kind of getting new leads signed up, but not with the sort of harshness of, hey, sign up now, or you can't view anything else. So, and people fall on both sides of that fence. In some areas it may make sense to have a capture. What I recommend generally is that you do a soft, sort of a soft lead capture, where if you're going to have a modal pop-up, which is how Platinum handles it, if you're going to have a modal pop-up, have it on, have it after 3 or 4 details page loads, and then let them close the modal window. That's called a request. In IDX Broker Platinum, you can set it up as a request, and so it's a little bit softer, and you're not going to have the high bounce rates that you generally get with a forced registration. And by bounce rates, I mean, for those of you that use Google Analytics, a bounce rate, when it's high, means that somebody's landing on a page or landing on your home page, and they just bounce. They leave the site at that point. So you want to definitely keep those bounce rates low. So just backing up here, so listing notifications, that's one good way. In this case, just offering a quick search is going to really help drive people in, and then and then give them more options so that they can go in. And of course, you have the option then, once they're on details pages, to create a modal window and customize that modal window in Platinum that will show up when they once they view so many leads. So let's take a look at, so we've got a widget here. We've got a showcase widget here, and then we've got the neighborhoods showing up here, and then they've built their own neighborhood pages, and then in that they've got a quick search going, and then they've got a widget displaying here. So some pretty deep customization. Some of this is very similar to what can be done with IDX Broker Original. Probably one of the biggest differences is both on the widget side and on the search forms themselves. The designs are a little bit different, a little bit more enhanced, a little bit more modern looking. So that's one of the differences for those of you that have questions about that, going forward. So let's take a look at. I'll close these 2 tabs now. So here's a good one, and this is a good one that is really focusing on the mobile friendliness of the site. And so people that come to the site, maybe from getting an email or a link, come to the site and they see the little mobile friendly widget here. Now this is something they've created. The designer has created here in this case. It's not something that is provided by our system, but the mobile friendliness of this site and of the search is one thing that they're promoting, and that tends to go over well with people, and especially if they go directly to kind of a mobile design page or page that's customized for mobile. They've also put a little quick search up here. Now, one of the other things, back to the lead capture, one of the most important things to getting more leads in these accounts. Create a link or a button or something so people can create an account. Give them the option to create an account. And call it your account. It's your website account. It's manage your CCL account. I mean, in this case, and it's a branded account. So when they sign up, they're gonna be able to sign up and create an account with you and save properties, save searches. One of the things that IDX Broker Platinum does a little bit differently is, in terms of save searches or save properties, is that the saved properties, if a core field changes for a saved property, then you'll receive, or the lead will receive, an email update saying, "Oh, the price changed," or you know, it's pending but can display, you know, that sort of thing. So any of the core fields, what we call core fields, basically these, you know, usually the county or zip code isn't going to change, but things that like price and type generally doesn't change either. But if anything changes, they're going to get an update on it. So something that's a little bit different from what you see in IDX Broker Original. So let's take a look here at, let's close this one. Yeah, so taking a look here at New House Realty and what they've done, they were an early user of IDX Broker Platinum. They're linking to, again, back to the lead capture and lead login. They're linking to their login page that's provided by IDX Broker Platinum, and then they created a little link there, you know, and then they can send people who have a, you know, in this case they're not forcing a password, so you know, they can also, people can sign up there, but they're linking there so that anyone who's already signed up, or let's say the person has given them a username and password, they know where to, excuse me, just username and email address, they can come in here and log in and go on from there. So you know, that's again another way to encourage those leads, encourage people to come back, linked to some of those standard IDX forms. In this case, what they've also done is they built some standard results. Well, let's go back to the home page first. So what they've built a quick search that's really built on around a search. So they've created a search form, and then they copied and pasted that HTML into their site rather than using the common quick search, and that gives them the ability to add things like area zone code, and they can, you know, where people can search by this. So again, some of this stuff is pretty advanced stuff that I'm showing you, and that's because these are some developers that work with us that have done an excellent job of taking IDX Broker Platinum and really integrating it into their client websites, and in a way that delivers some pretty good lead results. You know, in this case they've customized everything. They've customized the image here and so on, and then they've got a little slideshow showing here. The featured agent widget is a link, or is a widget as well. But again, this is a you know, some of these websites are fully integrated because the people that own these websites, they've invested in a good developer to really take it to the next level. You know, if you're looking at taking IDX Broker out of the box and just, you know, getting as many leads as possible, I'll show you a little bit later. I'll show you the demo site, and then I'll also show you the control panel, so we can kind of walk through the basic settings that you would need to set up. So in this case, we have this is an office, and they've customized the width of this page and the search form, and then they've customized a lot of the links here, the colors and so on. And really, you know, back to the lead issue, the way to attract people to your site and attract more leads is really to create an attractive site. So create an attractive site where people know where to you know, save a property. They can, you know, they have the pages blend in, they look nice, and they want to come back. You know, it brings people back to the site, and essentially what IDX Broker Platinum does is it integrates, you know, with whatever design you've got set up, it will integrate with that design, and you can control it from there. So let's look at got a couple other examples here. Yeah, let's take a look at this one. So here we have, city links. We've got city links built in. And so for those of you, and it looks like there's quite a few that have questions about SEO or are involved in the SEO side and want to, get good solid SEO results or search results. You've got this option here on the homes for sale. You can create these links. You can pull these links off the city links page, which we provide for you, and then you can build your own page if you'd like. And that's what they've done here. They built their own pages. They've used their own URLs here, and then in those they put the standard city links. So if you click on actually I'll click on this one. So if I click on the city link, it will pull up the results, and then those results change daily. So I think that's a good overview of really the front end for some of the client example sites that, especially for the developers that have worked with Platinum. Again, some of these sites are getting anywhere from 40,000 to 170,000 pages linked, indexed in Google, and so this is a little bit. In some cases, it's quite a bit higher than what we saw from IDX Broker Original. Some of that has to do with the fact that they're developer partners. They really know how to integrate sites well. But we've seen some retail clients do just as well in many regards. So let's take a look now at go back to the control panel and just give you an overview of how the control panel works, what we provide, and what how you can take it to the next level. So what we have here is page help basically takes you to any, if you're stuck anywhere and you get in the system and you need to go on and take a look at what do I do here, or how does this work. You can go to page help, and it'll pull down a window that'll take you right to the help section that you need. So this gives you the option. It's the dashboard modules in this case, but anywhere on any page you can hit this page help, and it'll take you there. Now, it'll take you directly to the contextual help for that page. Now, on the knowledge base, it'll take you straight to the knowledge base. So let's take a look at one of the things that you'll notice is you'll see all of your pages. So any pages that you've built, any new unique pages that you've built will show up here. And whereas in IDX Broker Original, and I'll start talking a little bit about how IDX Broker Original is different from Platinum. And in this case, it is different, and because in the sense that Platinum you can build unique pages, so you can add pages to the list. In Original, you had a set number of pages here, and that never changed. So any pages that you build will be listed here. You have your leads. Of course, you can drag and drop these around, these sections around. Let's say you want your leads to show up first, and then shows traffic stats and so on. So one of the ways in which IDX Broker Original Platinum is different from Original as well is that the traffic stats are collected prior to the sign up. So for those of you that are familiar with IDX Broker Original, typically you would have to have somebody sign up, and then after they signed up, they would go to a details page, and from there, they would click on something, and then you would see the traffic. In this case, what we have is, in IDX Broker Platinum, if somebody signs up as a lead, then that information about their activity is all in that lead record, even all the activity prior to when they signed up. So in other words, any pages that they viewed prior to them actually signing up gets pulled into that record. So that's pretty helpful for those of you that may want to go in and you may want to go in and create a saved search for your lead. let's say you go through traffic history and you go, oh, they were looking at this home or this search criteria, and you go to Save Searches and you add and create a saved search, and from there, you can create a search that then sends them some emails. So anytime a lead comes in, they're going to get that saved search, and or anytime a lead comes in and you want to create a saved search, you can do that based on that traffic history. So you have a lot more information in IDX Broker Platinum, and really a lot more information than is provided by most systems, comparable systems. Again, save properties. You could save a property for them as well if you saw that they looked at a certain property, or there was a property that is very similar to the property they looked at, but they didn't see it. You could always save that, and then you could send them an email in that regard about that property. So one of the other ways in which Platinum is a little bit different is in terms of account status for leads. So when somebody signs up, or they submit information to be a lead, if they submit through a contact form, then of course they haven't set up they don't have a username or password or anything like that, right? So with Platinum, the way that works is that they come in and they're a lead, but then when they're unverified, they're just unverified. They're not going to get an email update after 7 days if they don't verify, or you don't verify for them. But when you click on verified, you can convert them into a lead with a username and password. And then there's also a new field over here that allows you to send the credentials to that lead. So you're taking what was essentially a contact form, and you're creating an account for them, and then you're able to send those credentials to that person and engage with them. So there's a lot more engagement that can happen with Platinum, just based on the way the system works. One of the other features for those of you with Office accounts, one of the other ways in which it's different, core fields and round robin. So you can do a core fields and round robin search, or lead routing. So if you're routing leads now, and it's all based on core fields like price or like area or what have you to your agents, you can set up, let's say you have 3 agents in a specific area and you want to rotate between them. You can set up the core field and then have a round robin list that is sends to those people. So at random. So there are many features that are different. I'm trying to highlight here today the ones that are probably the most obvious or most powerful for you. One of the other things you can do the export leads. But here we have let's go back to lead registration preferences. I want to focus on leads for the most part, since that original theme here was leads. But we have quite a large base of people, and I think people want to hear different things. So for this webinar, we have some of you may already have IDX Broker Original. Some of you may be new to IDX Broker Platinum and Original, and still want to know the difference. And so I'm going to keep covering that information. So here we have lead registration preferences. We have conservative, balanced, aggressive, custom. So you can come in and you can set it however you want this way, or you can go to the advanced area, and you can customize your forms and customize your thank you. A lot of this is taken from IDX Broker Original, so some of these are not. This is not a big difference. One way in which it's different, we do. I don't know if you're familiar with the Tribus CRM, but we do push now to the Tribus CRM, and then we'll have some other CRMs as well. We work with some. We work with Real Pro Systems and their CRM, and we'll be most likely adding their system to ours as well. So there's a lot. If you're working with a partner now, there's a lot that can be done there in terms of just automating some of that, or making that easy. Let's take a look at. Let's go back. Let's go to designs. Since I've covered most of the lead changes. I do have it looks like people do have questions about the lead capture, however, and import leads. So there is more to be found here. So I'll stick with this we're running out of time, but you know, I can definitely stick to the lead as an important piece here. Import leads is a new feature that allows you to, if you create a spreadsheet or comma separated document that has your lead information, as long as it fits this criteria, you can come in here and upload the file. Now, for those of you that are thinking about migrating from IDX Broker Original, note that we automatically will pull your lead information over. And so the leads, save searches, that sort of thing, that will be migrated over. So it's not necessary for you to do this. This is more if you know, you've got an existing IDX system solution and you want to pull the leads in from that solution and import them into IDX Broker Platinum. So you've got that as an option. And then of course the standard create lead form. So there was a question here about, and I want to cover this topic, how to customize that. So customizing your lead form can be done here. It's in the advanced area of lead registration, and that allows you to, you know, pretty much add any item here that's listed in the drop-down. You know, you can add an assigned agent if you have an office and you want that on the lead form, email format, or you can create other, and then you can give it a name. You can give that, you know, let's say you want international phone number or something along those lines, and then the input label and the text field or text area and so on. So you can do a lot of customization there of that form, or you can delete, you know, maybe fields that you've created previously. In this case, we've got first, last, and email. Those are the standards that are provided. Now, the other thing is that with the increased traffic, we've also noticed that in Platinum that CAPTCHA is sometimes necessary because some of these pages get so well indexed, and so you know, you can end up with more spam than you've noticed with IDX Broker Original. So we've created CAPTCHA, and then you can also do a lead block of anyone submitting outside of these areas. Now, I would be careful with this one because, you know, we get a lot of traffic from people that, or from sites that are legitimate, or browsers buyers that are legitimate buyers that actually the international traffic has increased significantly because of the international buyers that are purchasing you know, U.S. properties. So in this case, I would be careful with this. You know, you only use this if it's an extreme. You're just getting somebody that won't stop. We also have an IP banning option. So for leads that, if you get a lot of leads and you want us to ban the IP, we can look into that. We generally will you know, ban it if we look it up and it's on a blacklist. So, and you would send that to help@idxbroker.com. You know, here you have conversion tracking code. So for those of you that are tracking the leads through analytics, and you want to you know, track that conversion code, you can put that, or AdWords, you can put that in here. And then here you have global registration rules, and this is one area where if you want to, let's say you want to request registration on a certain page. So in this case, you know, on the search pages or on a details page. Let's say I want to request and then force on a details page. You can customize this to a degree that is pretty substantial compared with you know, IDX Broker Original. Photo gallery, you've got request and force, and you know, you could do a request and force in IDX Broker Original, but the difference is that now you can set request as recurring or non-recurring. Now in IDX Broker Original, all request registrations, and by request this means, for those of you that maybe just going, huh, what is all this, you know, jargon about recurring, non-recurring, request, and so on. This is a sign-up form that you're telling the system on the photo gallery, when someone hits the photo gallery, you want them to get a modal window, a pop-up that you know, says either has the default message or a custom message, for those of you that have asked about how to customize that. You can customize it per forms, per modal window. So you could actually create a unique modal window for each one. So you could have a different one for the photo gallery and a different message for, details page. But back to the point, this would then, if you put a request registration and then you set it as non-recurring, okay, after how many pages viewed? 1. And then somebody goes to that photo gallery, they go, okay, and they see the photo, and then they go to the next photo gallery. They're going to get hit with this modal window that's non-recurring that pops up that says, do you want to sign up now? And here's the value. Here's what you get. You get the ability to save searches, to save properties, any email updates on new properties on the market. This is where you really want to pitch the value of what you're providing. Like, what is it that you're giving people? What is it that they're going to get out of the system that you're giving them? And that's probably the most critical piece is I think a lot of times I talk to people that really want to, they ask, well, do you want to, or I'd love to force registration because that's what people do in my market, or I'd never force registration. I think what you want to do is have a nice combination of all. You may not want to force. I mean, I understand the value of not forcing registration, but maybe go with the request registration, set that up on the photo gallery on the details page, customize it, customize that message, and then customize the response as well when they sign up. So customize the message that they get when they sign up, and then pitch all of the value of what you're giving them. What is it they're getting? What are the benefits that they get from signing up, rather than a sort of, hey, you've hit a wall, and you're not going to go any farther until you give me your information. What is it that you're giving them? What value are you bringing? And I think that's probably the most important piece when we talk about leads and lead registration. Some of these sites that are doing really well is they've given that a lot of thought, and they put together links on the homepage that allow you to log in, links that pitch or images that pitch the value of having a listing manager account, having an account with you, and so on. So there is a question, and this is a good question because it's a comparison to V1 and IDX Broker Original, which we internally have called V1. IDX Broker Original and IDX Broker Platinum. Is everything a modal window? Well, no. You can click to there is a link to a sign up form. So that sign up form is available. So if you just want to link to that directly, that's not a modal window. But when you have a sign up, or you create lead registration, lead capture on the site, this lead capture is going to be done through a modal window. So there is no way around that. It's built as a modal window, and we've done everything we can to ensure that those modal windows are they display on nearly every browser. So that's an important piece of Platinum, and we found that I think most people feel that that's it's an elegant way to display the information, to display hey, you can't, the walled garden, you can't get further, you can't go beyond this page until you fill this out, and then submit it and go on. So it's a very, very modern JavaScript way to handle it. So we found that, in general, it's tended to help the number of leads that people get. People tend to get more leads with Platinum, and a lot of people that migrate from Original to Platinum over a period of time, they end up doing a little bit better in the area of leads. So let's take a look at. Let's go back here, and I'll do some more comparisons here so that people have a good understanding for what's different. One of the other things that can be done is that with custom links, you can actually create a wrapper with custom links. So you can create your own wrapper for, let's say you created foreclosure search, and you want a wrapper that has a widget that includes foreclosures in a certain area. You can create a wrapper if you're advanced HTML, CSS, or you can hire your designer to do that, and they can work on that. We've got some designers that have that can specialize in doing that. So that's another potential. One of the other things that is different is in the area of widgets, and I'll speak just briefly about WordPress and kind of how that works with the widgets. So it's different from IDX Broker and Original in that you actually create a widget in the dashboard in IDX Broker Platinum, and you save it. You save that widget, and then you go into your WordPress plugin, into IDX Broker Platinum WordPress plugin, and from there you can pull in the widgets that you've saved. And when you save a widget, you can also do things like, you can change the latitude and longitude. You can save the, well, this is a bad example. Let me back up. I'll back up and show you a slideshow widget. In this case, you can customize the CSS, but you do it all here. So you do all the custom CSS work in the application rather than in line. And so this keeps it clean, so that all you have to do is you want to make some changes, especially or have your designer do it. They can make the changes in Platinum, and then they go into the plugin, and then you can just pull in the new widget. So pretty straightforward option there, but very very different from Original, IDX Broker Original, in that how the plugin works. In Original, the plugin would pull in some default widgets, but those default widgets were very fixed. They were set in stone, and it was very difficult to, unless you, you could go into the application and pull the widget and then just paste it into the WordPress custom, custom widget area, and you could have a new widget, but it's not the same as being able to pull a new widget in and that you've already created in the system. So you would spend, with Platinum, people tend to spend a little bit more time in the control panel, making changes and adding things. So let's take a look at the listings. Actually, syndication. Syndication is an important piece. So syndication is a little bit different in Platinum because Trulia, we actually feed directly to Trulia as a single feed, and rather than individual feeds. So those, we'd recommend that you set up an account, but they go directly out to Trulia in a single feed, and then that feed is picked up and credited back to your pages. Now, if we take a look at supplemental listings. Supplemental listings are also a little bit different from Original. So you've got here select MLS, property type. In this case, there's no agent added, so it doesn't show it, but it'll show. You can assign it to that specific property type, and then assign whatever. Create this, and this is basically for the most part, this is for sold listings. So any sold listings that you want to list in your system, and then those would show up. You can show those in a widget. Any sold pending listings. Those of you with IDX Broker Original that are on the call, hopefully you're aware of this, but you can set the status to not sold or unknown. Now you can, in IDX Broker Platinum, you can actually do that inline. So you can change it here, just click on it and open it without having to open the record, which is kind of nice. And then a lot of the features, active listings features, are really set very similarly to Original. Now, one of the other, probably one of the most powerful things for changes for, especially for offices, is the ability to import agents and not have to go in and create. This is a bad example because I don't have the correct Office ID set up for this demo, but if I had an Office ID with 50 agents or 144 agents, 145 agents, then it would list them all out here, and I could click on the link and then import the agent. Now this is very, very helpful for those of you that are offices, because as you get new agents, you can just come back to this page and import your agents, and it'll show the agents that have already been imported, and it won't re-import them. But what it does is it imports the agent, and then when you go in to your agents to manage your agents, it actually, if they have an email address, if they already have an email address, it'll import or add their email address. It will also add their agent ID. So if you go to the agent area, in this case it's not, but because it's a demo count again. But what this will do is automatically import the agent ID from the system and from the software. So definitely a big time saver for offices, and especially those of you with offices that are growing pretty quickly. The ability to import those agents and get them in the system. There's also the option of modifying the roster page in the office layout. So you can go to the roster, and then you can change the layout of the who shows up where on the list and so on. So you have more control over the layout of the roster as an office user. Another major feature, a major change is that the ability to take MLS fields, and you can take the MLS fields, and you were able to do this in IDX Broker Original. You could rename some of the major fields, but in IDX Broker Platinum, you can rename a lot of these a lot of these fields. The core fields you can rename the advanced fields. So if any of these fields, you need to take out normally we take out the YN from that just to clean it up, or if you want to clean it up, or if there's something that's confusing and you want to create a better description for it, you can do that from the renaming tab. So you have a lot of control there over how that gets displayed on your website. Now we have just a few more minutes here, and so I've covered most of the ways in which the product is different. I'll try to cover what I can here in the preferences, and then I've tried to focus mostly on the lead capture piece and what can be done with Platinum and lead capture. If any of you have questions that weren't answered here and that would be really helpful, definitely send that to webinars@idxbroker.com, and we can set up a separate webinar for that topic if it's enough to cover in an hour. We'd love to be able to do that and create more content for you. So again, if there's something here that wasn't covered, definitely shoot us an email and we'll take care of that. If you have any questions about your site, any questions that weren't able to be answered today, send those to help@idxbroker.com. So I'll do a quick run through here of just the final. We have a couple minutes, and just the last bit, major differences. Search page links, you can remove the search page links. The form is a little bit different. So what it does is it's got a drop down, and then it allows you to add any of the pages that you created. So any unique pages that you've created, you can add to your menu. So something that's pretty new, that's different with Platinum. So one of the other things that's different is that you can set up a contact CC and BCC for recipients. So you can create a CC, so you can CC your, let's say you have a CRM or something and you want to CC the CRM on everything. You can do that there. You can also send an email update to yourself as a sample. That's in a different spot now in Platinum. It's under email settings, under global preferences. Yeah, and then the final piece here I'll cover is just whether you want to use mobile wrappers or not. And there's always going to be contextual help here. And here we've got a good article here that talks about whether you would want to detect tablets as a mobile device. It really depends on if you have an iPad, you can take a look at your site on the iPad or not. What this does is this turns on the mobile wrappers. So the sort of app experience, it will turn that on or off. Now the forms are still responsive ready. So regardless of what you do, the mobile devices, the mobile pages will look better in Platinum than they do in IDX Broker Original. So that's one of the things, areas we really focused the energy. So that pretty much covers all of the, again, most of the differences for those of you that are on the call to know the difference between IDX Broker Original and Platinum. And then for those of you that are curious about lead capture, hopefully we've covered enough of that territory. We could probably split that into two different webinars, which we will do. We have in the email that you'll get with the link to this recording, you'll get a link to the migration email or migration webinar where we talk about IDX Broker Original and migrating from Original to Platinum. And then at some point in the future, we'll have another webinar that focuses solely on the lead capture piece and hopefully some statistics as well, so you can walk away with some good statistics to work with, as well as advice on how to work with your account and why IDX Broker Platinum is delivering some great results. So with that said, thank you for attending the webinar, and have a great day. And if you have, again, stay posted, stay tuned, as we will always be having webinars. Usually every week or two we have a new webinar. So if we have something that's suited to you, we will probably email you. If not, then just keep an eye on our homepage and sign up when you can. Thank you again for attending, and have a great day.